10 years ago, I found myself in the middle of the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador. I was volunteering at a wildlife sanctuary in a small village called Sachayacu. I vividly remember one particular afternoon, and it has stuck with me and shaped my life so much more than I could have ever imagined. I was sitting outside having lunch. There were wild squirrel monkeys jumping and swinging from the trees above me. The macaws were calling to each other from miles away. I was surrounded by so many animals, but I couldn't take my eyes off the ground, which seemed to be moving around me. Marching past my feet were tens of thousands of leafcutter ants. I wondered to myself, where are they all going? Why do they need all those leaves? Why are some ants carrying the leaves while others are empty-handed? My curiosity led me to research this unique animal, and what I learned about myself and others from them is what I want to share with you today. Leafcutter ants are the largest and most complex animal societies on Earth. A leafcutter ant colony consists of up to 10 million individuals, all filling different roles. There are foragers who explore the forest around the nest, searching for non-toxic leaves. These foragers then work together to cut the leaves into tiny pieces to bring back to the nest. For humans, this would be equivalent to carrying over 600 pounds between our teeth. Next are the guards. It's their job to ride around on the leaves and protect the colony from tiny parasitic flies that try to lay their eggs on unsuspecting foragers. Inside the nest, you'll find the gardeners. These ants take the leaves that were brought in and plant them in their giant fungus gardens. But the leaves aren't used as food. They're used as fertilizer. And the gardeners also double as nurses, caring for the brood of the colony. And finally, there's the queen, arguably the most important member of the colony, as she is the only one who lays eggs to make more ants. But despite her status, she does not give orders to any of the ants in her colony. No matter how tedious or monotonous their job may be, these ants work hard every single day to make sure the colony as a whole survives. They join forces and make individual sacrifices so that others can eat and have shelter. They are incredibly diligent workers and always put the needs of each other first before their own. And they aren't just benefiting each other. These ants are essential to building up soil in the tropics, ensuring that we continue to have a rainforest for the estimated 50 million species that live there. Collaboration is defined as the process of two or more people or organizations working together to achieve a common goal. No one person is a single entity. Athletes must collaborate with their teammates and coaches in order to win. Nurses must collaborate effectively with other members of the healthcare team in order to properly care for their patients. Teachers must collaborate with other teachers and parents in order to better educate their students. Without collaboration, the term citizen science wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't have the COVID-19 vaccine. I collaborated with my colleagues, my coach, and the TEDxRoseburg organizers in order to stand here today and give this talk. In a 2020 study by the Harvard Business Review, research showed that collaboration leads to sustainably higher commercial performance. After collecting and analyzing data across dozens of organizations, such as healthcare organizations and financial institutions surrounding the 2008 financial crisis, the most highly collaborative workers grew their business during the crisis and continued the upward trajectory afterward. This happened because as stress and uncertainty increased during the crisis, the highly collaborative people evolved their approach to developing business and executing work. There's no greater example of collaboration in our own community than when the Archie Creek fires hit the North Umpqua corridor. Firefighters from all over the world saw the need to band together to fight the raging infernos. Local restaurants donated thousands of pounds of food. People opened up their homes to strangers who had lost their own homes. Community members organized clothing, supplies, and pet food pickups for anyone affected by the fires. People were forced to really evaluate what was important to them and were continuously finding inspiration from each other through collaboration. They set aside their differences to help each other, and still are, to not only rebuild homes, but also the Umpqua forest. I think we can all agree that 2020 and the beginning of 2021 have not been conventional years by any means. On a daily basis, we're bombarded by stress, negativity, and feelings of isolation. Not being able to fly home to see loved ones, or hug your grandma in a nursing home, or see someone smile behind a mask, has all forced us to really evaluate what's truly important to us. And unfortunately, at a time when we need to connect and collaborate more than ever, we're more disconnected than ever. We're separated not only by distance, but by color, political beliefs, symbolic walls, and physical barriers. And sometimes, no matter how hard we try, we might feel overwhelmed and like we're just not doing enough. Yet all it can take is one movement in the right direction to reconnect us, to gently nudge us to go left or right, up or down, as one positive step almost always leads to another. There is inspiration all around us. As a zookeeper, I find my inspiration from the animals that I work with every single day. I am constantly in awe of the beauty and complexity of the animal kingdom, and I spend my time caring for these creatures in hopes that I can inspire others to care and take positive action. One of my favorite animals that I work with is an American badger. In the wild, American badgers are excellent hunters. They're a fossorial species, which means they're perfectly adapted to life underground. They certainly don't need any help hunting or catching their prey, but they've learned that through collaboration with a specific species, their hunting success rate increases. This species is the coyote. If a coyote spends its time near a badger who is digging underground to chase his prey, there's a good chance that the badger will flush out a squirrel or two, and the coyote will have an easy meal to run and catch. And if a badger spends its time with a coyote who is running to chase his prey, it's very likely that he's going to drive some animals underground where the badger can easily dig and catch it. An example of this collaboration and partnership was documented in 2016 by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on a prairie in northern Colorado near the Black-footed Ferret Conservation Center. But not only have badgers and coyotes been observed hunting together, they've also been seen playing and napping together. This is particularly unusual, especially given the fact that a 25-pound badger has been known to take on a 500-pound grizzly bear with no hesitation. This is Bandit, our 12-year-old American badger. As you can see by his mostly calm disposition, or not, since he's choosing to be off stage today, he's pretty unusual for a badger. But don't get me wrong, he loves to test his keepers at wildlife safari. I've been working with Bandit for 1.5 years now, and he still treats me like I'm the new babysitter, and he likes to see just how much he can get away with. Bandit was orphaned at a young age, which caused him to rely on human care for his survival. Bandit is an ambassador for his species. Not only does he help teach people the importance of respecting wildlife and protecting our planet, but he also allows us to pass on the unique message that animals do, in fact, collaborate in nature. Collaboration can help solve problems that we once thought were impossible. It nurtures brainstorming and builds trust. It leads to innovation, increased success, and better communication. As humans with complex emotional needs, collaboration is easier said than done. We aren't ants who were programmed to work day in and day out, no matter how much we might feel like that sometimes. And we're not always going to feel as joyful and inspired as the Dalai Lama. So why not start with a small ripple? Reach out to a neighbor. Volunteer in your community. Pay for the person's coffee who's in line behind you. You'd be amazed at how fast collaboration happens. When we start to consider the impact of our choices on the people and planet around us, and when we start to think further ahead than our own lifetimes, that's when we see change. One of my favorite quotes by Dr. Jane Goodall is, "You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." Just as the ants work together for a better colony, and just as coyotes and badgers work together to survive, and just as you're gonna buy that person's coffee tomorrow morning, we can all collaborate to make our world a better place.